All right, today we have Aaryan and Kaloyan in their finals match, the finals match of season 3 for Kaloyan, the second finals match for Wenzel. Um, Today, Kaloyan needs 5 points to secure third place in season 3. He can get 5 points by either keeping the margin to 40 or less, or by winning a single set. Um, Aaryan essentially needs, well, a win will put him in the finals. Um, a loss, and we would end up having to have a tiebreaker match due to Giovanni's rule. So we're starting off here with, I couldn't tell if that was medium or large medium, definitely medium, 3-digit multi operation, square roots, and a a an irregular roots. Kaloyan here with the square roots to start off with. He has the lead here. Very good at square roots. He is currently he won square roots in each of the first two stages. He is just slightly ahead of Wenzel here in square roots on this stage. Um, Aaryan has won addition on every stage by a comfortable margin. He won division in each of the first two stages, although Wenzel is ahead on the finals stage. Um, so 4-3 Kaloyan here, 90 seconds into the set, each set 300 seconds. This is likely a good set for Kaloyan, although I'm not sure that the specific multi-operation format is a positive thing for him. That's probably the 3-digit medium is probably where Aaryan comes up with the largest advantage in multi-operation. Um, but this will, if Kaloyan can keep getting the square root questions correct, that's definitely a winnable set for him. Kaloyan has to come up with this multi-operation question. Um, okay. Nearly halfway through the set, Kaloyan 5-3 lead. They're on the same question here. Kaloyan had got one of the complex questions correct. I believe that Aaryan did not, which is more or less the difference here. Eight five Kaloyan. My understanding, and I don't know this with certainty, is that Kaloyan and Wenzel appear to be using a different square root method than everybody else. It is much more complicated or takes a much higher skill level to implement, but if you are capable of doing it, it would result in more flexibility in solving the questions, um, especially when dealing with different size bases. So we have 9-7, 3.5 minutes in, a minute and a half here to go in this set. Doable A times B times C for Kaloyan. 10-7. Aaryan not able to get the irregular root. Our 11-8, Kaloyan solving that square root. That is going to give him a large advantage here. Going to be difficult for Aaryan to make up a 3-point difference here in the final set. Aaryan has not had a match in quite some time, um, so we'll have to forgive the camera setup because I didn't realize I needed to verify that. But 12-9 Kaloyan, we're running out of time here in the first set. They are still on the same question, though. I think Kaloyan able to solve 2 more questions correctly. This is going to be the first set this season that Aaryan has lost. Oh, it's 12-11 here. He could pull back into a tie. Oh, he is... I don't... Neither of them answering this question correctly. Kaloyan gets it right. Important, very important there. Aaryan... and he uses the buttons strategically as he should have there. Kaloyan pulling important question there at the end. Aaryan erasing the deficit there and nearly coming back. That was surprising. It didn't seem possible, but Kaloyan managing to salvage the set. That means he has finished at a minimum 3rd place in season 3. This is likely to be a very difficult set for Kaloyan. He would appear to be the most disadvantageous multi-operation set, as well as addition, which is the least preferable standard task for Kaloyan, and then fractions addition, which is not... Kaloyan is rather good at those, but it would seem implausible for him to win the category by enough to offset what's going to happen here in addition. Aaryan getting the fractions addition question. Kaloyan gets it. It looks like faster. So we have 2-2, but Aaryan with the addition advantage now up 3-2. So to keep this close, Kaloyan's got to make sure he gets through the addition questions in 30 seconds without a mistake. He can't have too many mistakes. He doesn't have time, generally speaking, to redo the question, so he's going to have one attempt. It's got to be right. And that... No, he knew what went wrong. So 4-4 here, about 2 minutes in. Kaloyan can take a lead here if he manages to get this question correct. Aaryan pulling off the multi-operation question, takes the lead back. Kaloyan's got to be careful here. He doesn't want to get locked out with 10 seconds left. That should give Aaryan a little bit of advantage here. If he can get this fractions addition question, building a 3-point lead by the halfway point. He's got to take his time. Button turns yellow. That means you have 1 guess left before you're locked out for the rest of the question. Yep, and that he didn't get that one. So Aaryan up 2 here, a little bit past halfway through. That's a relatively difficult A times B times C with the 4-digit number at the end there. Although I'm surprised Kaloyan didn't get it. It's a 6-4 here, coming up on the 3-minute mark. Going to be very difficult for Kaloyan to erase this deficit with the mixed addition subtraction. As you can see here, Aaryan solving it. Oh, he incorrect, but he's got plenty of time to redo it. Sometimes he has time to solve it 3 times. (10-6) coming up on 4-minute mark. That's should be a relatively easy fractions addition question for Aaryan. 50 seconds left here now. It is 12-6. Difficult multi-operation question for Aaryan, but there is not enough time for Kaloyan to get 6 more points at this point. So neither of these two competitors have used the buttons much during this season. Again, Aaryan has not lost a set until that first set, and Kaloyan had only lost one set before, if I recall correctly, before the final stage. He lost 2 sets to me, 3 sets to Rahul, and then all 5 sets to Venzo. But don't think he is particularly comfortable using the buttons or understanding exactly what they did. So hopefully he has become a little bit more familiar with them for this match. So final score for this set, 13-8. He's got roots, 2006 MCWC, 3 digits small. I would not randomize anything if I'm calling in. Keep the formats. That's fine. I'm not sure that was an advantage or a disadvantage for him. Roots, again, that's the standard task that Kaloyan wants. I could not say off the top of my head what 2006 MCWC is, but generally I think the MCWC formats are relatively okay for Kaloyan. 3-digit multi-operation large is a very difficult format. Kaloyan is not. I don't think he's actually attempting the question. That. I mean, he doesn't have the negative sign, so I would think he's not really. Yeah, 3-digit large multi-operation, difficult for everybody, although Venzo relatively consistently gets them correct. And Aaryan did get it correct. I didn't see that. That definitely important. 2006 MCWC questions, I'm not really sure, but the older ones tend to be easier than the newer ones, and in that first question format was obviously not difficult. And Aaryan needs to be very careful not to get locked out of this question. Okay. (4-2) Kaloyan coming up on 100 seconds here. With one very easy task format and one very difficult task format, this could be another set here for Kaloyan. Aaryan is going to have to get the root questions and hope that he can pull off enough here on the multi-operation. We're tied. Kaloyan has an 17-second lead, but this could be Aaryan's chance to take the lead back here in the set if he can get this question. Kaloyan 6-4, coming up on halfway. This looks like a relatively at least doable multi-operation question for Kaloyan, but not easy. (6-5). Aaryan, he's got to. I think he's over calculating these 2006 MCWC questions. He doesn't. Those should be relatively instantaneous. Okay, we're tied here. Aaryan with it. Kaloyan is one question further, but tied match. He's consistently getting the square root questions, which is continuing to give him an advantage here. Eleven 8, 11 9. Either for Aaryan to come back, either he's going to have to gain a point on the multi-operation, or he's going to have to get these square root questions correct rather quickly. $14:10. We are with 40 seconds left. This appears, and Aaryan is locked out of the easy level question. This appears to be another set for Kaloyan. Aaryan definitely, I think not at peak performance in season 3. Certainly, he had quite the competition streak. Earlier in Calculation League history, we had Calculation League Season 1. Then he went to the Mental Calculation World Cup, where he had clearly the best performance ever. Then he did world records attempts for Guinness, set a number of world records. Then he came back for Calculation League Season 2. And he is stuck with roots again. System of equations, 1 digit large. Calling with a smile. Aaryan is going to have to get the roots questions right. He is going to have to get the roots questions right, and otherwise it's going to be 3-1 Kaloyan. The system equation questions very difficult. These questions easy, but Aaryan is not. That's not enough of an advantage to win this set on because of how easy they are. There, Aaryan getting that root question quickly. System equation question is definitely doable. I just based on prior experience, I think Aaryan has the advantage in these questions, and it looks like Kaloyan solved it as well. But yeah, the key on this set is going to be whether Aaryan can consistently get these root questions correct. We have different answers here on this question. One of them is clearly not correct, and that would be Aaryan's. Okay, Aaryan up 7-6 here. Strong performance on this route so far in this set. But it is going to be difficult. Kaloyan has consistently outperformed him on routes this season. And they're going to get a lot of questions on the routes here. But the system equation questions, it definitely are important. They've been good so far, and if it could easily be the case, though, that I wouldn't expect them to continually get each one correct. They are rather difficult, but if somebody, and that is a fast answer from Aaryan, that is impressive. That could be a meaningful. It's not 40. Okay. 10-7, Aaryan getting through another square root question without difficulty. And that solving that one there, okay, he's got a little bit of a cushion now. If he can continually answer the root questions accurately, he's in good shape to maintain the lead here. 12-9 halfway through. System equation questions are not easy. They on finals mode they can have 4 variables, 4 equations. Although, if I recall, should be 75% of them are 3 equations, and 25% are 4. We've only seen 3 so far, though. 12:10, a little bit past the 3-minute mark. This has been an impressive performance by Aaryan on the system of equation questions. If he can continue, he's got to continue with the accuracy on the roots. That's an easy one for him. Now, I think he had an extra digit there. He's answering a 10th digit. Stop typing. That's going to give Kaloyan an opening here. And it looks like we are going to be tied here in a few seconds. Okay, we are tied. 50 seconds left. We are down here with the system equation question. This is a relatively difficult one. Kaloyan just seconds behind Aaryan, so this could turn out to be, those seconds could be important. 9 and 10 second gap. Kaloyan with a chance here though. If he can get this question right, they have the same answer so far. Aaryan gets it right, and Kaloyan's got to get the last digits. He gets it right, 15-15. If whoever gets this question right wins the set. If neither of them get it right, the set is a tie. There is no 40. There is no 32, Kaloyan. There is no 32s. Aaryan running out of time. Kaloyan is not on the path to solving this. And we are tied. And this looks like another set that is quite advantageous for Kaloyan as he smiles. Aaryan not liking what he is seeing so far. The path is getting really short for Aaryan to win this match. With the tie, that makes it possible for this match to end up as a tie. But if Kaloyan wins this set, we are at 3-1-1, and Aaryan is going to have to win at least 3 of the final sets. These are difficult cube root questions, and Aaryan is not. And I have no realistic chance of being able to solve these cube root questions. Aaryan is not. He's not putting in the effort. So we will see what Kaloyan can do with these questions. If neither of them can solve the cube root questions, this is going to turn into a square root competition here, or whether who can avoid making mistakes and typos. But somebody's gonna have. This is fewer significant digits. It's still 6 though. And Kaloyan gets it correct, and that is going to be huge. That Aaryan feeling the pressure. I don't think he has. Well, I know he has not been down in a match this late in a match, other than against Wenzel, except maybe the first time he played Kaloyan in the season 1 regular season. I think he was trailing about midway through that match briefly, and he did come back with a very strong second half performance. That was a doable cube root for Kaloyan. We have 7-6 after 2 minutes. Nine six 9-7 at the halfway point. I think, yeah, Aaryan is going to have to solve these square root questions fast and have a really strong 2.5 minutes approaching these square root questions to come back here. I'm not. He does not look comfortable doing the cube roots to the required number of significant digits. Not an easy thing to do. Kaloyan has some comfort level doing them, but he is obviously they're not easy for him either. All right, that is 13-8, just over 3 minutes, 14-8. Um, this is shaping up for as a. So far, it's been a great set of questions for Kaloyan. Multi-operation questions have been on the easier side or the more difficult side. The standard questions have been roots, and the complex questions have been not a negative. I don't. Kaloyan has outperformed Aaryan on complex questions throughout season 3, so he's got to, the key to the match for him is avoiding enough of a deficit in multi-operation and standard, and that has played out exactly as he would have liked. 17-13 here, 4-minute mark. Really running out of time for Aaryan to cut this gap without a mistake, although Kaloyan making a mistake there. So a little bit of an opening here. Should be a doable square root question for Aaryan. Okay, 17-16, 40 seconds left. Can he figure out how to do a cube root question? If he cannot, unless Kaloyan makes a mistake on the next square root question, the set would appear to be over if Aaryan is not going to be able to solve this current question. And that would appear to clinch it, unless Aaryan can come up with an answer to the cube root question. And that's it. Kaloyan came up with an answer to cube root question. That is over. Division, system of equations. He took a chance randomizing it. He didn't want to get roots again, but addition, system equations, 3-digit multi-operation. That is not what Kaloyan would like to see. Kaloyan has a plus 12 point differential here. It's 3-1-1. Happy with his performance. There was no question about him getting 5 points, it would appear. And this is going to be really difficult for Kaloyan. The stats would suggest that all 3 of these categories favor Aaryan. And then now we finally have a 4 variable system of equation question. Extremely difficult. Aaryan has solved at least one in the past, as have Wenzel. I'm not sure I've seen anybody else solve one, although they're only present on finals mode. It was a relatively difficult multi-operation question. Aaryan got through it. 3-1 advantage just after the 1 minute point. And he's going to get through this. Oh, there's a mistake on the addition question. He's got plenty of time to do it 2 or 3 times. 4-1 here as we approach the 2-minute mark. There's not. This is really just trying to keep the deficit as small as possible for Kaloyan. I cannot really imagine him winning this set. Although system equation questions, you never know, but realistically, 6-1 coming up on the halfway point here. There are 2 remaining matches in Calculation League Season 3 for the finals stage. Wenzel and Aaryan to play next Saturday. And then I will be playing Abalaksha in the 5th place match on Sunday, which I believe is just winner gets 5th. And if we manage to tie, the tiebreaker would go to me. Otherwise, at the conclusion of those 2 matches, there will be at least 1 championship match. If Kaloyan wins this match, we will end up having a tiebreaker match with Kaloyan and Aaryan to go to the championship against Wenzel, likely in 2 weekends. Well, likely in 2 weekends from now, although if we need a tiebreaker, it may be postponed to a little bit 3 weekends from now. 7-2 here, coming up on the 4-minute mark. Difficult questions here. System equations, again, not easy. A difficult multi-operation. And addition, subtraction, not Kaloyan's preference for the standard tasks. So after this set, it will be 3-2-1 Kaloyan. If he manages to win 2 of the last 3 sets, he wins the match. If Aaryan wins all 3 of the final sets, he wins the match. If Aaryan wins 2 out of the 3 final sets, we have a tie. In the case of a tie, we would not have the Giovanni's rule tiebreaker match. It would go to Aaryan, who has collected more points. So 12-3 in that one. Addition, factorization, 3-digit multi-operation. He's randomizing it to division, factorization, 3-digit multi-operation. So Aaryan has a +3, if I'm seeing the numbers on the screen correctly, a +3 point differential, although he's down. This will be interesting to see division. Kaloyan is obviously extremely good at division, but the finals level questions have been a challenge for him. I don't think he had any prior experience doing divisions that were this large, and they've definitely been straining his approach to division. In the last set against Wenzel, he appeared to show an increased ability to solve the larger ones, or maybe they were just a little bit luckier. But we have a 14/6 division on the screen here. Not easy to do, and not easy to do for Aaryan either. But he has definitely been much more consistently solving these questions through the finals stage. In the third category here, factorization. The factorization questions, very unpredictable in final stage. These are big numbers. It could be essentially humanly impossible to factor this within the required time. or the number could be prime, or have two factors, um, with one of them being small. And Aaryan is able to factor the question. That is these are going to be difficult questions on this stage. Um, Division, I would say, is the most difficult standard task on finals mode. And then they have this for multi-operation and factorization. This is going to be a low-scoring set here. Aaryan pulling off the factorization question, and he pulls off the multi-operation question. This is a reasonable division he has, and he's built a 3-0 lead here as we approach the 2-minute mark. Kaloyan getting through the multi-operation question. This is a division question he can definitely solve. But that Aaryan factoring that first number, critical. Didn't quite see, but Kaloyan may have been putting in the wrong number of digits. Um, no, he was not. Aaryan 4-3 as we approach the halfway point. That is a unreasonable multi-operation question that Kaloyan has. Aaryan with a 12/5 division, he's got to get through this with accuracy. It doesn't look like he's going to get it. That gives Kaloyan a little bit of an opening. But again, that first factorization question, and Aaryan immediately guessing that it is prime. We will see if Kaloyan takes that same approach. Hesitating to guess that it is prime could end up costing him some time. We'll see. So 6-3 Aaryan as we approach 200 seconds. A little bit of hesitation, but not so much. 7-4 here. It will be with the difficulty of these questions. It is going to be difficult here for Kaloyan to have a path towards a comeback. That first factorization question for Aaryan was critical in this set. And Aaryan obviously showing off the ability to factor numbers correctly. At the end of this season, we will have a leaderboard for different categories. I know Aaryan has done extremely well in factorization, even though it's definitely beyond the normal standard tasks. But he did very, very strong performance in factorization over the course of the season. 7-4, 30 seconds left. Don't really see a path, and so we are going to have a 3-3-1 match going into the final two sets. If guaranteed to make it the full length of the match here. If either of them wins the final two sets, they have won the match. If it's 1-1 or either of the final two sets is a tie, then the overall match is a tie. Nine four here, Aaryan. We are likely just waiting here for Aaryan's timer to run down. Kaloyan has 4 seconds to try to answer this question, and so it is 9-4 here on this set. Division mod, 1-digit multi-operation. I'm not. I would not randomize all if I'm Kaloyan, or the multi-operation. Okay, that. I again. So we're gonna do division again. Mod, another format that is high variability. The questions can be relatively easy or they can be extremely difficult. If I was Kaloyan, I don't really want the 2-digit medium multi-operation. Aaryan extremely fast at those questions. I would have preferred the 1-digit large. Very fast solution for Aaryan on the mod question. And the question on the screen right now, that is the type of question that Aaryan will likely build an advantage here. So 4-2. Okay, we are tied here. Aaryan not answering the division question. That's a rather difficult division question. Looks like 15 by 5. Kaloyan with a path to I get sort of keeping it relatively even if he can answer this. If he does not answer this, then Aaryan clearly leading. He's trying to count. I think he was missing a digit that should have been 11 digits in the answer. 6-4 here, coming up on 100 seconds. So another very difficult division. We are tied. I expect Aaryan to answer this mod question correctly, although this is not an easy question. He does answer it. 8-6 Aaryan, 2 minutes past. We have not seen standard multiplication on this match so far. Standard multiplication is definitely a clear advantage for Aaryan. Probably certainly I would say less so than addition, but more so than division. 12-7 here, coming up to the 3-minute mark. As long as Aaryan can stay accurate here, erasing a 5-point deficit, relatively difficult. So 13-9. These division questions a little bit too difficult on this final stage. I will admit that. We will likely decrease the difficulty or by removing the highest difficulty questions or decreasing their frequency for future seasons. Given that these two in particular have demonstrated an ability to do 10 by 5 exact divisions in 2 or 3 seconds, the high difficulty wasn't it to ensure that their top 3 competitors had a challenging format to practice, but the variability of the formats and the inexact divisions sort of made it a little bit too difficult. So 16-10, we're running out of time on this set. Aaryan's timer is not quite enough to bring it to 300 seconds. So although Kaloyan's timer is, Aaryan will have a brief period of time to get through the next multi-operation format. We'll see if he can do it in the 5 seconds. Yeah, so 17-10, one format left. For Kaloyan, leave it, Kaloyan. Don't change it. Don't click buttons. So we have 4-3-1 Aaryan. If he wins this set, he wins, and he's got a task here. He's got to get the roots. If Kaloyan can avoid mistakes here, and they've got to be some nerves here at this point. In ninth set, neither of these two. Well, Kaloyan was tested in that match against Rahul. He played to a tie, um, a 4-3-2 tie, and it was a fantastic match by Rahul, who was an extremely strong competitor at this point. Um, I do think at the point Kaloyan did not understand the use of the buttons thoroughly, but um, Rahul with a fantastic performance, a clear fourth place performance. Once again, clearer than in seasons 1 and 2. So Kaloyan jumping out to lead here 5-3, 1 minute in, and this is going to be every question here is going to be critical. The multi operation likely not to play much of a role. So Aaryan hope he's got to, if he can figure out how to factor one of these questions, not getting the square root question. By winning that last set, however, um, we have bragging rights a little bit here on the line, but winning that last set secured Aaryan's place in the championship match, given that Kaloyan can no longer win this match. Kaloyan will finish third. Wenzel and Aaryan will advance to the championship. Whether this match is an Aaryan win or a tie, 6-4 Kaloyan here at the 2 minute mark. And Aaryan making another mistake here in the square roots. Kaloyan getting through the factorization question with a 3 and a large factor. 9-5 here at the halfway point. This is the kind of question that Aaryan's got to get through here. Kaloyan with only a 6-digit factorization question here, although it clearly is deceptively difficult. No. 10-6 should be a simple square root question for Kaloyan. 11-7. Okay, can Aaryan get this question? He's going to need to pull off something, and I'm not either. Unless Kaloyan's going to make mistakes on the square roots, Aaryan's going to have to come up with a difficult factorization question. We are moving towards a tie here, and this is why we do Calculation League. Blitz mode this season was fantastic. The number of very close finishes, number of intense matches was very high, much higher than in the previous seasons, and there were a number of matches that came down to one question. Number of comebacks. This definitely qualifies a strong comeback from Aaryan today, taking 3 sets in a row from 6 through 8. But this is Kaloyan's set. We have a tie in this match. And third place for Kaloyan once again. Aaryan 6 days to prepare for Wenzel. Not an easy not an easy task by any stretch. However, as we saw in this match, question formats can make a difference. Aaryan certainly with a advantage in addition, obviously, and I would not count him out in Division 2. I certainly Wenzel has been phenomenal in the finals mode, but Aaryan definitely has extremely high potential and ability to do high difficulty division questions. And we are over.